There was a man in the United States named Ethan who believed he had everything under control when it came to money. He wasn't rich, but he wasn't struggling either. He worked a stable job in a mid-sized American city, earned a decent monthly salary, and lived what most people would call a normal life. Rent was paid on time, bills were covered. He could afford groceries from Walmart or Target. He occasionally ordered food from DoorDash when he was tired after work. On paper, everything looked fine, but inside his mind something didn't add up. No matter how careful he tried to be, his savings never grew. Some months, he even felt like he was moving backwards financially. At first, he assumed the problem was obvious. Maybe rent was too high, maybe gas prices were increasing, maybe groceries at Costco and Kroger were getting expensive, maybe he just needed to earn more, so he did what most people do. He ignored it and kept going. But one evening, something changed. Ethan was sitting at home in his apartment, scrolling through his bank app on his phone. It was not a planned decision, he was just bored. Out of curiosity, he opened his transaction history for the last 60 days. At first glance, everything looked normal. Netflix subscription, Spotify Premium, Amazon Prime membership, Hulu subscription, Apple iCloud storage plan, a gym membership at Planet Fitness. Nothing seemed alarming. These were normal American expenses, everyone had them. But the longer he looked, the more uncomfortable he became. He noticed something strange. There were dozens of small, repeating charges he didn't even remember agreeing to. A $9.99 subscription for a meditation app he downloaded during a stressful week and never used again. A $14.99 Adobe Creative Cloud plan from a free trial he forgot to cancel after taking an online course. A $7.99 mobile game subscription for a game he hadn't opened in months. A $12.99 LinkedIn Premium membership he activated during job searching but no longer needed. A $4.99 cloud storage upgrade he didn't even remember approving. Individually, none of these felt serious. They were small amounts, almost invisible. But when Ethan started adding them together, something uncomfortable appeared. He was losing more than $200 to $300 every month on things he wasn't even using, and the worst part, he had completely stopped noticing them. These weren't active decisions anymore, they were automatic deductions, silent withdrawals happening in the background of his life. It felt less like spending money and more like money quietly evaporating. That night, Ethan couldn't sleep properly because he realized something important. His financial problem was not about income, it was about leakage. His money wasn't being taken in big dramatic moments. It was leaking slowly in tiny repeated drops, like a water pipe with hundreds of small holes. One hole wouldn't matter, but hundreds together, that becomes a serious problem. The next morning, Ethan decided to investigate further. He printed his last 3 months of bank and credit card statements. When he laid them out on his kitchen table, the reality hit harder than he expected. The list was longer than he thought. Streaming services stacked on top of each other: Netflix, Hulu, Disney+, HBO Max, Apple TV+. He wasn't even watching most of them consistently. He just kept them running out of habit. Then came the forgotten subscriptions. Free trials that turned into paid plans. Apps he downloaded during motivation phases. Software he used for one project and never touched again. And then there were lifestyle subscriptions, food delivery memberships like DoorDash, Pass, and Uber One, cloud storage upgrades, fitness apps, online learning platforms. Each one looked harmless alone, but together they formed something bigger. A hidden monthly system quietly draining his income. Ethan started to notice another pattern too. The pricing itself was designed in a way that made it easy to ignore. $4.99, $7.99, $9.99, $14.99 numbers just small enough to feel insignificant. His brain never reacted to them like real money. But when combined, they created a large financial impact. This was the first realization. Modern spending is not designed to feel painful. It is designed to feel invisible. As Ethan continued analyzing, he discovered something even more frustrating. His essential bills were also filled with hidden layers. His mobile phone bill from AT&T was advertised as $60, but the actual amount was closer to $85 after service fees, device charges, and regulatory costs. His internet bill from Comcast Xfinity started at $70 but ended at over $100 due to equipment rental fees and hidden adjustments. Even his bank account charged monthly maintenance fees when he didn't meet certain conditions. Nothing was fully transparent anymore. Everything had hidden layers. It was no longer about the price shown. It was about the final amount after all invisible additions. And because everything was automated, Ethan never questioned it. The money simply left his account every month without resistance. That's when he understood something deeper. The modern financial system does not rely on stealing money. It relies on people forgetting where their money goes. And forgetting is the most powerful system in the world. Because when you forget, you stop reacting. And when you stop reacting, the system continues without interruption. Ethan leaned back and looked at his bank statement again. For the first time, he didn't feel confused. He felt aware. And awareness, he realized, was the beginning of control. But what he didn't know yet was this: subscriptions were only the surface level of the problem. There was a deeper layer of spending behavior waiting to be uncovered. A layer that had nothing to do with apps or bills and everything to do with how modern life trains people to spend without thinking. And that realization would completely change how he viewed money forever. Ethan didn't change anything immediately after discovering those hidden subscriptions. He just sat with it. Because for the first time, money wasn't confusing him anymore. It was revealing itself. And the more he looked, the more uncomfortable the truth became. His financial problem wasn't about income, it was about behavior. Most of his spending was not planned, it was automatic. He didn't wake up and decide, today I will spend money. It happened in moments of reaction-hungry DoorDash, tired Uber Eats, bored Amazon, stressed Netflix binge, or random app purchase. Everything was instant, no pause, no friction, no thinking, and that was the real system, not subscriptions, not bills, not fees, but automation of behavior. He started noticing something deeper. The entire modern financial environment in the US was designed to remove resistance. Amazon made buying effortless. Uber Eats made food delivery instant. Netflix removed the need to choose what to watch in advance. Apple and Google stored cards so spending required no memory. Even banks like Chase and Bank of America had made payments frictionless. Money wasn't leaving with a decision anymore. It was leaving with a tap. And taps don't feel like spending. That was the illusion. Ethan began to break his life into patterns, and what he found wasn't random, it was structured. 3 invisible systems were controlling his money. The first was passive subscriptions: Netflix, Hulu, Disney+, Spotify, Apple TV+, Adobe Creative Cloud, each one small on its own, but together they formed a monthly leak that never stopped. And the worst part, nothing forced him to question them. They just kept running, quietly, automatically, endlessly. The second system was convenience spending: DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, Instacart, services that didn't just sell food, they sold time back at a premium price. A $12 meal became $25 without effort. And because payment was digital, there was no emotional resistance. No wallet opening, no cash leaving hands, no physical pain, just a notification, order placed, but the money was real even if the feeling wasn't. And the third system was lifestyle chaos. This one was the hardest to see. It wasn't apps, it was behavior. Ethan noticed he was wasting money in ways he never counted, rebuying things from Amazon because he lost the old ones, paying late fees because he forgot deadlines, subscribing to services he already had because he couldn't track them, spending extra just because life was disorganized. And that's when it hit him. Chaos is expensive. Order saves money without effort, but no one talks about that. That night he looked at his bank statement again. But this time he didn't feel overwhelmed. He felt awake because the problem wasn't hidden anymore. It was visible, and once something becomes visible, it becomes changeable. He didn't try to fix everything at once. Instead, something naturally shifted inside him. He started rejecting autopilot behavior, not dramatically, but quietly. He stopped accepting every renewal without question. He stopped buying things without hesitation. He stopped trusting default spending. And something surprising happened. Nothing in his life got worse, but his financial leakage started shrinking, slowly at first, then consistently. Months passed. Ethan noticed something he didn't expect. He wasn't feeling restricted, he was feeling lighter. Because for the first time, his money was staying with him. Not because he earned more, but because less was escaping silently. One evening, he checked his account balance, and And for a moment he just stared at it, not because it was massive, but because it finally made sense. Every dollar had a reason now, nothing was disappearing without explanation. No hidden drains, no forgotten subscriptions, no invisible leaks, just clarity. And in today's world, clarity is rare. He leaned back in his chair and realized something simple but powerful. Most people think financial struggle is about income. But in reality, it is about awareness. Because money doesn't vanish in big moments. It disappears in small, unnoticed decisions repeated over time. And systems are built to keep it unnoticed. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. Ethan closed his laptop that night with a strange feeling, not excitement, not greed, not pressure, just control. For the first time in a long time, he didn't feel like money was slipping away in the background of his life. He felt present in every decision. And that changed everything. Because financial freedom doesn't always start with earning more. Sometimes it starts the moment you stop letting money leave quietly without your awareness. And once that silence breaks, the system loses its power.